can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again.
Olden Days is coming up. We're going to tell you about that in just a moment. But right now, 10th anniversary of the Dean Kravitz Memorial 5K. Stuart, we're going to hear a little bit about Devin in just a moment. Sue, we're going to hear about your son as well in just a moment as well. Devin, 10 years now. Tell us about, Stuart, tell us about Devin.
Devin was a vibrant, young, 22-year-old, not sick, rode a dirt bike, played sports, always helping everybody out, doing the things a normal 22-year-old boy does. And he just got sick, and within days he told his mom he wasn't feeling good, and within days he kept on feeling worse and worse and worse, shortness of breath, heavy chest. But it was basically stuff that you would expect from a normal cold. I had, cold and flu symptoms. He went to bed. At my house, he went to bed, and he never woke up.
And nobody, no one was expecting.
No,
22 years old. And tell us a little bit about this disease and 10 years now that you have had this race to raise awareness and also to raise money, of course.
Right. The awareness is that you can't trust that it's just a typical flu, typical virus. If it appears at that, you got to look for the shortness of breath. The biggest sign is that when you're sleeping or you're at rest and you have shortness of breath, and when you're at rest, when you have the flu symptoms and stuff like that, it's the shortness of breath, the chest pains, and things like that. The fatigue. That's what Devin was. He was working with his mom, and he just had to sit down. He couldn't keep up with anything. He couldn't do what he normally could do. He had the heavy fatigue, and you just can't. You just got to be aware of all the signs and symptoms, and you got to go get checked. You can't not get checked because you're 22 and you think you're going to be fine, and you have because you worked out or you did something, and you think it's just the flu.
It's just going to pass.
Right, it's just going to pass, and it's not always. And this disease, it attributes to up to 20% of all sudden deaths for young people. Those kids that are on the soccer field that you see running, they just pass away right on the soccer field because they thought it was nothing. They thought it was just the flu, and they try to play through it.
And again, you're young, you're going to live for forever. Although, or you're just, you're just a guy, and you're just never going to go to the doctor and check it out. You're just going to it'll be better tomorrow.
Right.
Sue, let's talk about your son. And now, did he see? And I'm going to have you pronounce it to make sure that I don't mess it up. But I mean, did he see that the symptoms coming on? Did you go and have it checked out?
What happened with Alex? He was 15, and he had come home from school, and he had said to me, "Mom, it's really weird. I had funny chest pains today, and I would get dizzy and get really sweaty." And then I went, "Well, what else happened?" He goes, "Well, it happened about 6 different times at school. And a couple times I had to hold on to the wall when I was walking in between class. And another time I was just sitting at my desk." And in my mind, I'm saying, those are symptoms of a heart attack: shortness of breath, chest pains, dizziness, sweating.
Right.
But you're 15, and you're completely healthy. Yeah. And this is where Stu's saying, do not ignore this. Yeah. So this was a Monday, and I called his doctor. I said, "This is what's going on." They said, "Bring him right in." We did an EKG and a chest x-ray, and nothing showed up. And this is how myocarditis works. It either hits you immediately and it kills you immediately, or it'll have symptoms like Alex did. 2 days prior to this Monday, he had a fever, and he stayed in bed all day, that was it. That fever never left his body. It attacked his heart, and that's what viral myocarditis is. It's a virus that attacks your heart and basically damages your heart. Yeah. So the next day, Alex complained of a stomach ache. I called the doctor. Wednesday, he called me and said, "I can't walk home from school. My legs feel like they're 1,000 pounds. I feel horrible." So I called the doctor again, and she goes, "Look, bring Alex in tomorrow. Do not let him go to school. There's something going on. I want to see him first thing in the morning." Well, 4 o'clock in the morning came by, and I heard Alex walking from the kitchen to his bedroom. He was as white as a ghost. His eyes were sunken in, and he was trying to catch his breath. I said, "Stop doing what you're doing." I put him in the car, and I drove him to St. Vincent's Hospital. And the minute the nurse listened to his thing, she got on the phone, and like 4 nurses came running in, scooped him off. And within a half hour, the look on the doctor's face scared me. Like I've never been scared before. And he goes, he needs to go to another hospital. We went to UMass from there. And when we got to UMass, they literally put defibrillator pads on him. He was already in heart failure.
At this point, did they know what it was, or they just knew that his heart was failing?
The doctor at St. Vincent's had heard of a health alert of viral myocarditis being in this area, and there's been more cases of it. One of them being his son.
Wow.
So he was smart enough to realize that he was dealing with something he couldn't deal with. When we got to UMass, they literally ran from the emergency room up to ICU. And within about a half hour or so, they pretty much said to me, we can't treat him here. In my mind, I'm like, where do you go from UMass?
Right.
And they're like, well, there's a machine out at Boston Children's Hospital that might save his life. Might.
Oh, I know.
They said, get your family in here, which they already were. By now, it's only 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And Alex was given last rites. Our family priest came, and one of the doctors looked at me and said, go tell him everything you've ever wanted to tell your son, because he might not even make the ride there. So we all went in and said goodbye to him, and they put him under, and I never talked to him again for 3 weeks. He was put on a machine called ECMO, which is a heart-lung bypass machine, because his lungs collapsed. His heart was so enlarged from this virus that it stopped working. And when we got to Children's Hospital, they said his only chance of surviving is a heart transplant.
Boy.
Somehow this kid is a miracle. He survived. He kept his own heart. And now he runs this race.
He runs the race. Wow, isn't that something?
He does Tough Mudders with me. He does Spartan races.
Wow.
He's in college.
But that's 1 in a million, it sounds like.
Yes. The odds, after this happened, I needed to find information. As a mother, I needed to know what was going on. And that's how I found Stu.
I was going to say, and that's what and here you are, you've been raising all of this awareness through this race, but through also what you've been doing. Stu, you know, where the story seems different is as horrible as this was, what you went through, you didn't have that with your son.
No, we weren't fortunate enough. We never saw that. We never recognized it. We thought it was nothing. We thought it was just basically the virus, and he went to bed and he just never woke up. We weren't fortunate enough to get up in the middle of the night to have to pee. That was it.
How many stories like Sue's have you heard now over this last 10 years as you've been raising awareness? Because this is a big component of it too, not only the money, but the awareness.
For Sue's, where it's complete recovery, not just Sue.
Right, but more people who
have people have been treated, and they're on medication and stuff like that, and they're slowly rebounding, but not where it came to where I think Alex was fortunate where he was young enough and it was caught quick enough.
Yeah. And they knew, and where they knew that it was serious enough, that they took action right away. Whereas, he's 15, healthy, let's wait.
Well, that's what happens with a majority of the cases that they bring in, and it's a disease of young people, young, healthy people. And that's what the problem is, and that's where we try to make awareness that emergency room doctors will say, I'm just going to send this kid home. He has a virus. He don't feel good. The mother's overreacting. The father's overreacting. And that's where we come in and try to make awareness and say, don't let them send your kid home if you know that he's saying he's had chest problems. He has chest problems. Have it checked out. There's some tests that you can take. Obviously, they gave Alex a bunch of tests, and they knew he was having a heart attack. Not only did he have heart failure, he had a heart attack. His arrhythmia were off. Everything that could go wrong with your heart was wrong with Alex's heart.
It was going wrong. All right, so that's why we need to come out and we need to run this race and support this race, even if you're not going to run it or walk it. Please come out and support. Give us the details, Stu. What do we need to know so we can get involved?
It's on September 3rd at 9 o'clock. The race goes off. Registration starts at 8. It's at Leicester. It's at the Leicester Senior Center on Winslow Ave. It's a fun event. We try to make it fun. We try to make it, we have a DJ. We have, the best part about the race for me is to watch the fathers run against their sons, the brother run against the brother. We have a lot of families come out to it, and it's really to see that type of atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. We have a small kids race afterwards, but it's a fun event. We have a DJ. We have we have music. We turn what normally, and everybody has told me this over the years, that is not a normal typical 5K race. Because we do it family style, everybody's included, we welcome everybody, and the best part of the whole thing is to watch the kids and parents and everybody run together. And we've had ROTC run as a whole group. We've had them come in and run together. So it's been a
This is great, and 10-year anniversary.
Right.
Sue, the work you guys are doing, tremendous work. Thank you so much for all that you're doing, and getting the word out. That's what needs to be done. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming by and telling us.
Thank you for having us, and we appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Coming up, we're going to talk about Holden Days right here on the Hank Stolz Experience.